front three worked themselves into sheer tiredness that they just couldn't cope with it. Two of them went down with cramp, but they'll recover to enjoy the celebrations.
Well, Ivan Golat's greeting Scott Crabb, who played so well until that bad injury put him out of the contention. Craig Brewster now has the chance to savour the moment. Well, he's still in pain, obviously, but these United supporters have travelled here in vain 6 times in the last 20 years. But now they've made it, and Ivan Golat is the man who has breathed this sense of belief and confidence into the troops. The result has been a tremendous performance, the climax of the season, and Rangers' dream of back-to-back trebles is over. And Dundee United go into the European Cup Winners' Cup by right, not as losing finalists, but having won. Paul Hegarty there, who's been involved in the losing side for United. Coach at Tannadice now is on. And the delight is obvious throughout the United ranks. Well, how well they deserve an occasion like this, having travelled and hoped so frequently and had these dispelled. But now they can enjoy this moment when the cup will be presented by Malpass. What a great career he's had now. And Ivan Golat is down below.
Ivan, you promised success for Dundee United at the start of the season. How do you feel?
Well, I don't think it's a bad, to win a first. Obviously everybody's dream. I feel absolutely delighted for everybody, connected with United, but more than anything for the players.
What sort of emotions did you go through this afternoon?
I'll tell you something. I feel very quiet. I knew, we're going to make it. I knew we're going to make it because we're so determined, before the game, and we're so much relaxed. We knew it's going to be ours.
A touch of good fortune possibly about the goal.
Well, yeah, but we didn't score in a few better occasions, and it came nicely because Christian Daly, he's done everything, the whole job, and I'm so pleased for them.
What now, Ivan? This is obviously something to build on once the celebrations are over.
Oh, goodness me, nice couple of months, really good break, because I need it, that's going to be first break after 2.5 years. But it's magnificent to looking forward now to pre-season because we're going to do a lot of nice things in the future.
So the walk in the park obviously works.
If you can't enjoy yourself, I tell you, you ain't got a chance to win. They did enjoy themselves. Whatever they've done, and I'm delighted for them.
Enjoy yourself tonight. Well done.
Thank you all.
So a delighted manager of Dundee United, Ivan Golat. And these supporters waiting for the moment when Maurice Malpass appears to collect the trophy, decked in tangerine and black. The Right Honourable Ian Lang, Secretary of State for Scotland, presents the Scottish Cup to Maurice Malpass. A moment he perhaps thought he would never enjoy. One of Scotland's top professionals over the last 10-15 years, Maurice Malpass, now collects the Tennent's replica trophy. Dave Bowman, the hero, it's his 8th anniversary at Tannadice. It came with Jim McInally here at the same time, 8 years ago. Andy McLaren goes through, Gordon Petric, who got the Tennent's Man of the Match award. Then Alec Cleland, who played so well on the flank. Brian Welsh, an undoubted hero against Mark Hateley. The keeper, Guido van de Kamp, who made that incredible save against Alexei Mikhalichenko. A young Christian Daly, who created the winner for Craig Brewster. David Hanna has swapped jerseys there. Gary Boland didn't get on the field, but he's enjoying the moment. Jaron Nixon did. He earned the booking and then a Cup Winners' Medal. And the goal-scoring hero, Craig Brewster, his 20th of the season, and the one he'll remember best for the rest of his life. So the players coming down now. They'll go to do a lap of honour, I've no doubt, towards their supporters. Well, Ian Ferguson, number 8, they are swapped by David Hanna. That finds its way into that picture. So that's the picture you'll see in the papers tomorrow morning. A battery of photographers. Maurice Malpass surrounded by his teammates. Particularly sweet for Jim McInally and Dave Bowman and Maurice Malpass, who've been here in vain before. Well, Dundee United under Jim McLean won the league. They won the League Cup twice. They went to the final of the UEFA Cup, semi-final of the European Cup. But this was the one they couldn't manage, and it's been achieved under Ivan Golac. The happiest man, I can tell you, in the stadium is likely to be Jim McLean, the chairman of Dundee United. So the players now welcoming the applause from their supporters as they go across now. Well, the cup is shown to the Dundee United supporters to the East Stand. Well, it's 11 years since the league championship was won. And there were scenes like this for Dundee United supporters. Ryan Welsh holds the trophy aloft. Paddy Connolly is there. And we'll leave too, I'm sure, for Billy McKinlay to see his side win the cup in his absence. Well, like telling him a very close look at the trophy. You won't find Dundee United's name on it until the engraving is completed after 1994. All the players across there except Craig Brewster, who's been surrounded by pressmen, photographers. But Maurice Malpass is now available for interview.
Maurice, you've lived through the bad times. This must be a sweet one.
Yes, after the last few disappointments, it makes it especially better. Fantastic crowd. We've had a great week, and the boys were absolutely brilliant today.
Did you always feel that you had the winning of this one?
Yeah, we're confident. We had good games against Rangers before, and we knew on the day if we took our chances, well, we'd win.
Those last few minutes must have taken forever to pass.
The last 4 minutes were like 4 months.
Is this something to build on, do you feel? I mean, can Dundee United take it from here and got the cup final thing out of the way finally?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. We've got that hoodoo's used put it out the way now. We can just go and enjoy our football and improve in the league next year.
Davey, what about this mob behind me? They certainly give you some backing.
No, it really does. It's a great day for everybody. I mean, we've been here, a lot of them have been here probably 7 times. And for us to win it today, absolutely brilliant. Well, delighted for everybody.
What did you see of the goal?
Nothing. Hitting the net, that was it. Absolutely delighted. I thought Christian was put it into game one. Then, good on Craig followed up, put it in. Different class.
Well, if we can wait for a second, we'll get Craig Brewster in here as well. The man who tucked away that goal. It wasn't one of your long-range efforts, but it counted for a lot, didn't it?
Best goal in my life. I thought Christian did absolutely brilliant. Robbed the keeper, played it across the goal, and I thought, please come off the post. Came off the post. Thank you. Royal Rover stuff.
What a season it's been for you.
Fantastic. Win the first division last year, the Raith Rovers. To come here, Hampden, win the Scottish Cup final. Brilliant.
Well done.
Thank you.
So very happy match winner there, Craig Brewster, who scored the winning goal in 47 minutes after valiant work by Christian Daly, cashing in on a break of the ball from Ali Maxwell. So the battery of photographers there, taking these pictures of the Dundee United players who have earned this the hardest possible way. Well, they're all the congratulations. Billy McKinlay there with his skipper Maurice Malpass. So Alec Cleland has now acquired a tangerine wig. Ivan Golac with Craig Brewster, the manager was the goal scorer. So Craig Brewster, promoted a year ago with Raith Rovers, he didn't stay there, he came across to Tannadice to win the cup for Dundee United. Scott Cramp had a touch of the cup, and there's David Neary, so often a hero for Dundee United. He's played his last match for the club, but he holds that trophy aloft, a fitting way to end the marvellous career. So the honours in the end go to the men from Tayside. The Dundee United performance was outstanding, and they have the reward. It's Dundee United who have won the day.
Wonderfully happy and emotional scenes around Hampden. Dundee United at long last have laid that cup hoodoo and have won the Scottish Cup. And Christian Daly, the man who did so much to create the winning goal, is down with Rob McLean.
And you didn't score it, but you did everything else.
Oh, I couldn't believe it all right. Actually, I was on the way before it hit the post, but I just delighted Craig was there to put it in. What experience, absolutely tremendous.
You must have got the surprise of your life when the attempted clearance from Ali Maxwell hit you.
Well, that's right. Well, I saw Dave McPherson. I think his pass back was slightly short, and I knew I could see Maxwell was going to take a wee chance, so I just had a go. If you take a wee gamble, there's always a chance you'll get the rebound, and it just worked out great for the club.
You've had your problems with the United supporters this season. Do you feel you're turning the corner now?
Well, I don't know. I hope so. I mean, I played second half and that, and to get away from the forward line, but I came back and played in the forward line today, and the fans have been great, and they deserve everything they've got.
And just great for United, obviously, to win a cup final.
Oh, it's just tremendous. I've been a few myself as a fan, and to play and win and to win, it's just a dream.
Well done.
Thanks.
Jim, what a long wait. 20 years, a long time, but my goodness, what are your feelings now?
It's unbelievable, Hazel. Well worth it. Look at this. These people deserve it more than anybody.
You said right from the outset you would do it. It was your year.
Aye, well, the gaffer made us believe that. And I think we showed the day that we did believe it.
Quite a goal to win it, though, wasn't it?
Well, that's what happens when you never say die. They never gave up the chase and they got the break.
Well, you worried the last 5 minutes. It was pretty tense.
You're always worried, Hazel. Against Rangers, a team like them, they bombarded us, but I thought we held it well.
Well, the Hampden hoodoo is once and for all finished.
What he's got to talk about now.
Absolutely. Well done today.
Thanks a lot, Hazel. Thank you.
Hampden, a sea of tangerine and black, and whatever your allegiance, I think one has to feel so much delight for those Dundee United fans who, over the years, have travelled back the road and the miles to Dundee so many times after losing finals. You really have to wish them all the best in their celebrations tonight when they finally get underway. Eamon, you've been part of so many losing finals. An emotional day today, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to see the players, the ones I know personally, out there celebrating, and the fans enjoying it so much as well. United played very well the first half. They got the goal, and then they rode their luck a little bit, but all credit to them. Fantastic.
You always were looking for a Rangers win, Terry, but you only have to look at those fans behind and to our left and see what it means to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to a few of the fans beforehand, Dundee United fans. They were just quietly confident, just really come to enjoy the day, and obviously they'll enjoy it even more now. But all credit to Dundee United. They've got the goal. Rangers bombarded them second half, but they held out well. I mean, everybody in the Dundee United team was a hero. So, you know, well done, Dundee United.
The game plan was right, wasn't it?
Well, it was. They stifled the Rangers full-backs. The service of the front men wasn't very good. And yet when they got the ball, they broke well, and were able to have a lot of confidence in themselves to really attack Rangers. And they got the goal a bit too early, I think, from their point of view. But they really held on well.
Well, let's take a look back over some of the highlights of that second half. A marvellous first 45 minutes, which finished goalless, of course. We only had to wait 2 minutes for the goal, which was eventually to decide the outcome of this Tennant Scottish Cup final. Eamon, how did you see it?
Well, Dave McPherson passed it back to Maxwell, and I felt he should have kicked it straight down the park. Said he took a chance to play it to the side. Hit Christian Daly, he played it in, and bang, 1-0. They'll never score an easier goal than that.
Ali Maxwell clearly felt that the McPherson pass back was the problem. Would you go along with that, Terry, or some of the blame maybe lying with Ali Maxwell?
Well, it's one of those things, I think, when it comes to cup finals, sometimes a goal like that does decide it, which has happened. But there were so many chances in the first half, so many better chances at the end of the day. Well created by Dundee United, and then all of a sudden Rangers really gift them. I mean, he could have put it anywhere, really. I mean, some goalkeepers sometimes play safe there and put it out for a throw-in, take the easy option. But he tried to get a bit of distance. He's hit the player. He's closed it down well, Mike. Christian Daly, give him credit, has closed it down well. Sure. On his left foot. Hits the target there. Craig Brewster, typical striker. You can't miss from there.
That's the thin margin between success and failure in cup finals. I mean, that ball hit the post, it could have gone anywhere, but it fell beautifully for Craig Brewster.
Well, that's right. I mean, in previous cup finals, I've always maintained that it's one incident that can change a cup final. That was the incident this time. In previous games, it's been maybe a goal chalked off. And that's exactly what I said after. They got that little piece of luck which is required, and they went on to win the game.
Did you feel that there was going to be a Rangers goal coming in that second half? Did you get that impression?
I got the impression it was United's day. And I think the players knew that as well. I mean, the final ball by Rangers was very poor.
Yeah.
Welsh was brilliant against Hateley, and he never really got any service at all. Malpas snubbed out McCoy's completely, and he stopped the fullbacks getting down the park. I mean, United's game plan was spot on, I thought.
Yeah. Man of the match was Gordon Petric. Would you go along with that, Terry?
I think it was very hard to pick him out of the match from the Dundee United team because they're all so very, very good. But I think he mastered the defence well. He was very cool on the ball, sometimes a bit too cool, but you know, he was always there in the right place, and he really, you know, him and obviously Maurice Malpas and Welsh really stifled the Rangers' attack.
And the United players, there is Gordon Petric, the man of the match. Jaron Nixon alongside him. He made an impact in his short time on the pitch, certainly. And the celebrations, as I'm sure you can hear, still going on here at Hampden. Those United fans simply don't want to leave. They're enjoying their day in the sunshine. Running through the full repertoire of United songs, and my goodness, I've waited a long time to sing them. Well, Rangers had one or two chances in that second half, certainly. The United back four under enormous pressure at times, and certainly Alexei Mikhailichenko had a real chance, which were a marvellous save from Guido van de Kamp. What about this one, Terry?
Yeah, Stuart McCall does very well here. Goes past a couple of players, good bit of footwork. Goes past about the fourth player. Good turn in, and I mean that was a marvellous save. I mean all Mikhailichenko's done there. He's done the right thing, hit the target. And Stuart McCall deserves a lot of credit for the way he's battled through. He's got gone past two there, three players. I think the fourth one comes across now. I think that's Petric. Goes past him, whips a good ball in left foot. Puts another 2 men out of the game. Mikhailichenko would have scored but for a marvellous save.
Yes, Mikhailichenko did everything right, really, Eamon, didn't he? I mean, he had his shot on target.
It was an instinctive save. I mean, and again, a little point in the game where suddenly the United players have a belief that they're going to do it, and the Rangers players think, oh no, we're never going to score. And there was one other save later on in the game as well, which Van de Kamp, when he was called upon, was very good.
It was strange that with Hateley and McCoy so well shackled, as Terry was saying, that the best chances seemed to fall to players like Mikhailichenko, who are not out-and-out strikers.
That's right, and Dave McPherson had 2 or 3 half chances as well. Again, guys that aren't used to scoring goals or aren't as good at scoring goals.
Yeah.
And that suited United. You know, the ball blasted over the bar, and perhaps instead of ending up the back of the net.
Gordon Jury had a good one as well in the second half. We can have a look at that now, which again saw the chance fall to Alexei Mikhailichenko. Terry?
Yes, he takes the ball on well here. He's gone past 2 players, strips it out wide. I think he's at a very tight angle there. I think that's really an ambitious shot, and I think any centre forward on the far post, Mark Haley in particular, would have been disgusted with that ball hitting the side netting. But you know, if you don't shoot, you don't score. So he fancied himself. I think if he'd been a little bit closer in, Mark Haley's pulled away the far post there, you see. And I think
again, a very crowded 6-yard box. It might have been hard to get the ball.
I think if you're going to shoot there, I think you've got to shoot across the keeper. So if he does save it, he pushes it out for somebody to have a tap in.
Yes, rather than shoot for near post. Mark Hateley did in fact have one shot, and a very good shot it was too, taken first time. His threat tends to come more in the air, Hateley, but as we all know, he's got enormous skill on the ground, and another Rangers chance fell to the big striker here. Takes this one well, Terry, doesn't he?
Well, he hits it with his wrong foot, so to speak, with his right foot, but he hits the target. But the keeper gets his body behind it, and then he's really alive to the rebound, comes up and smothers it. I think Ali McCoy was in coming in, but Mark does hit this well. If you don't shoot, you don't score.
Gave it a nice height by Van de Kamp, to be fair, but it was very well struck him.
Just one of those things on the day, the ball just seemed to squirm away.
If you can restrict players to shooting from 25 yards, then you've done well defensively. I mean, the goalkeeper should save that most times, you know.
Just for a second there, mind you, there were horrible memories of Duncan Shearer's goal in the semi-final, which slipped under his body, didn't it?
Over the line, that's right. But Van de Kamp was very good overall, I thought. Very confident. And cope with everything.
And then towards the end, Craig Brewster very nearly had the chance to wrap things up for United. I wonder about this one, Eamon, did he do the right thing?
Well, I thought the legs had went really in Craig. To me, he was the man of the match up until about the hour mark, and then he just got so tired. Nixon peels off beautifully here, and I felt he should have given it to him. He tried to beat the goalie, possibly saw the glory. That would have been the game over then, about 5 or 10 minutes to go. But Maxwell did particularly well, stood up. He's a tired man by this stage. He's thinking, just hit the target, and Maxwell stood there and saved it.
Yeah, but the little cut back to Nixon, Terry, and you'd have had to venture him to make it 2-0, really, wouldn't you?
Yes, he looks very relaxed as he comes in here. I don't really think he has a look. I just I think he thinks I'll just hit the target here, but Ali Maxwell will just stand up well. I think, I'm not too sure if the Rangers players coming back into the left of the pitch, he would have got back in time, but it was a good chance.
And just one last final incident towards the end, a severe challenge on Guido van de Kamp, which I think we can see wasn't actually a foul at all. It looked very much like it, but a lot of big men going up for high balls in the area at the end, and I don't really think there was any foul there, Eamon. Would you agree?
No, seeing it there, I mean, Duncan Ferguson, who's got a tremendous leap, he jumps as high as the goalkeeper, and it's just 6 of one and half a dozen of another. Ball breaks, but again, it didn't fall to a Rangers player. Another little incident where they think, oh no, but we're not going to score today.
I think in the end it was really Rangers just resorting to that long ball into the middle, where I think obviously Welsh and Petric did so well in the air, and whenever the ball did bounce, it was Petric to volley it away.
So there we are, that's how it ended, with a victory going at last to Dundee United by a goal to nil. And I have to say that the United fans are still, I was going to say on the Hampden slopes, they're not really slopes anymore, they're all seated. Not that many of them were sitting down towards the end of the match, but they're reluctant to leave. Marvellous scenes around Hampden, all the tangerine and black, the celebrations beginning. The Arabs at last have something to celebrate. History was always going to be made here today, of course, at Hampden. It was either going to be the double treble for Rangers, or it was going to be Dundee United's first ever Scottish Cup win. And in the end, it was the latter. Now, of course, the man of the match, as we mentioned, was Gordon Petric, and we've been running our man of the match competition throughout this afternoon. We're offering you the chance to travel to the Charity Shield match at Wembley between Manchester United and Blackburn Rovers. And Gordon Petric was the choice of George Charles Forbes, gave us his full name. He's from 23 Caird Avenue in Dundee, and I would imagine that George tonight has a double reason to celebrate. I would suspect he's a United fan, and he'll certainly be heading off as a guest of tenants to Wembley on the 14th of August to see Manchester United against Blackburn Rovers in the Charity Shield, with a flight down, a limousine to take him to a champagne lunch, and all the business at Wembley on the day. And no matter how much he enjoys it, I suspect he might not enjoy it as much as he's enjoyed the match this afternoon. Rob was hinting at it, Eamon, in the after-match interviews about this being the start of something for Dundee United, and you would have to agree with that.
Yes, I would. I mean, they've formulated quite a good side, and since Gordon Petric has arrived, they do look a very stable side. They've been up and down, but they've got some good young players, possibly one or two players away from being a major force in Scottish football, but that's a tremendous platform to build on.
And of course, Tannadice itself is going to be a very impressive stadium, and all of the current work going on will be completed, and presumably then money can be diverted into strengthening the squad.
Well, that's right. Obviously, they've spent a lot of money building the new stand. Obviously, selling Duncan Ferguson paid for a large chunk of it, but there will be, once that's complete, I mean, most clubs are in that position. They're diverting a lot of their funds into building the stadium up. And once that's free, perhaps they can buy another couple of quality players.
That's right. But as you say, there are a lot of good young players, the Dailies, the McLarens, the Hannahs, the Bolans, who presumably, if they can hold on to them, will be mainstays of the side for years to come.
I think Ivan made the point at Ibrox. There were 7 players who were under 21 years of age, which is great. And certainly the young ones there today didn't let the side down at all.
But you, I'm sure, feel particularly pleased for the Maurice Malpasses and the Jim McInallys and the Davy Bowmans.
Well, I do. Personal friends, from the backroom staff, from guys that are actually playing, from the fans even. I mean, I know the feeling of being there and not winning it. So, yeah, I'm very pleased with them tonight.
Yeah. From the Rangers' point of view, Terry, I mean, you wouldn't want to take anything away from United. You haven't. But on the day, Rangers perhaps disappointing. Will their fans be upset perhaps by the fact that they didn't rise to the occasion?
I think they'll be disappointed. The Rangers players will be absolutely gutted now in the changing rooms. I mean, it's nice to keep winning doubles, trebles or whatever, but when you do lose a final, you know, on a nice sunny day as it turned out at the end, it is very, very disappointing, because you've got no game next week or whatever to put it right. You've got to live with this now all summer. So I think the Rangers hierarchy, whether it be David Murray or Walter Smith and Archie Knox, they'll look at things very seriously, and Rangers keep building all the time, and I'm sure they'll be looking for the plans next year. But it's disappointing on the day, I think. I mean, I wouldn't want to take anything away from Dundee United. I mean, I thought they thoroughly deserved their win. They looked confident, they looked really as if they had perhaps more of a belief that they could win the game today, so all credit to them. Yes,
it's disappointing, obviously, to lose the chance of the double treble, but I think we are going downstairs again. Chick Young has reappeared, and he's with Walter Smith.
Walter, so much expected from Rangers this afternoon, clearly disappointed.
I was very disappointed in the manner in which we lost the game and the goal that we lost. I wouldn't say we were totally disappointed by the way we played in the match. I felt the first half was a good first half, both teams opportunities to get a goal, And the second half, we made the mistake early in the game, which dictated the rest of the match, and we weren't able to get the breakthrough that was required.
Gary Stevens limped off after half an hour. What's the news on him?
I damaged his ankle there. He stubbed his toe in the ground, and he his ankle. It's badly swollen just now.
There was no sense of taking a gamble with the fitness of Stevens in the first place, was there?
No, he kicked the ground.
Yeah, so, but he started the game in full condition, obviously. So going into next season now, there'll be talk of changes in the Rangers team in the summer. Will that happen?
I don't think this is the time to talk about changes at Rangers. I think you've got to look at the squad of players that we've got at the present. And over the last 3 years, they've been by far the best team in Scotland. I think it's been a credit to Rangers. I think they've handled themselves really well over that period. And I think it's time to look back on that and reflect on the fact that they were the first domestic team to win 7 trophies in a row. And I think they deserve terrific credit for that. I don't think it's time for any manager to be talking about making changes.
Do you think the talk of double trebles was putting too much pressure on them over the last few weeks?
I don't think so. If you look at the game in the second half, we pushed and tried to get the goal. And we maybe just didn't get a break. That happens to you in cup ties. We've had the breaks in other ones. We didn't get the break today. And that's the way a cup tie goes. That's what makes it so difficult to do as they have done and won the amount of trophies they have done in a row.
If you put yourself into a neutral corner, Walter, it was a great game.
I thought the first half was a terrific match. And obviously losing the goal as early in the second half, made us push to get the goal, and Dundee United could sit back and defend. And to their credit, they did that well.
Walter, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Walter Smith obviously disappointed, but philosophical about the loss of the double treble. A chance that really only comes once in a lifetime, Terry, and that will be even more disappointing for the Rangers players.
Yeah, I think it's a club record, 6 championships in a row, so they are rewriting the record books all the time. But I think the game today was a great way to end the season. I mean, a lot has been said about Scottish football this year, but it was a great way to finish. Even the sun came out at the end, which was great. And you look at Dundee United, a lot of young players in the team. That always, the future augurs well for them, and if they can build on that, and obviously Rangers will be smarting from defeat and keen to pick up a treble next year. So it's now.
And yet you wonder when, admittedly, Dundee United hadn't finished the league season in a blaze of glory either, but whether the fact that Rangers had gone off the boil, it's hard to get back into the winning habit. I mean, that's the first time I think since 1985 Rangers have gone 4 consecutive games without scoring a goal.
Yeah, I think it's. But then again, when the championship's won and you're virtually there, you do try physically to try and rest a little bit and not put so much into things, just to try and prepare to them when it comes to the cup final. They can put everything into it. But the first half, especially as Walter has said, was very open. Both sides could have scored goals, and you never know.
But certainly, in the evidence of today, they don't look like a side that could make a run in the Champions League, for example, next season, which is the obvious ambition for everyone at Ibrox. We assume there will be some big money spent this summer.
Well, like I said, Walter and David Murray got to go away and look and see what's in the coffers first, and then see what other deals he can make. But as Walter says, not really the right time to do that. They'll do that come the summer months, and then look at things from a different point of view. But it is disappointing for them because it would have been nice to have got the double treble, but it wasn't to be today.
It was Dundee United's day. No one's arguing with that. And there is a difference going into the Cup Winners' Cup as Cup winners rather than almost by default because you were runners-up, isn't there?
Well, there is, but I think United were absolutely delighted when they made it to the cup final. They were guaranteed Europe, and they took the foot off the pedal as well in the final run into the league. I mean, you could voice the same criticism as you have against Rangers, and yet they won today. It was interesting that Walter immediately went on the defence of his players there, and immediately started to build up their confidence for the start of next year.
Sure.
And there's no way he's going to come out and say anything critical about them, because they have been absolutely fantastic over the last 4 or 5 years. They've won league titles, they've won cups. Today it wasn't for them. I think he hit the nail on the head when he said we didn't have that piece of luck. And I've maintained that in times before where I've been in losing cup finals. And that's the difference. They lost it today, and suddenly everyone starts to analyse now. Why did you go wrong?
Sure.
Let's spend players, let's change. And the opposite happens with United. That's football.
That's the way it goes, you're right. And we shouldn't forget the fact that they have done the double. They've won 7 domestic trophies in a row. It's still been a very successful season for Rangers.
On a broader issue, I think it was quite good that Rangers haven't won the treble again. To monopolise the way they have in the last few years in Scottish football, I don't think it's been particularly good. They've deserved their league titles, yes, but if clubs can't come in and win the odd cup game, it begins to get a bit boring, really.
Yes.
So, I mean that's upset the apple cart a little bit, which is good, I think, for Scottish football.
Absolutely, the Rangers fans won't agree with you, of course.
Of course
but I think, as you say, to take a broader viewpoint, then it probably is better for the game that United should have won the cup today. Let's take a look again at the goal then, which finally decided this 1994 Tennant Scottish Cup final. Not a classic, You have to attribute blame clearly to, well, Dave McPherson and Alan Maxwell to whichever extent, but credit to Christian Daly for being in the right place and for setting up that chance for Craig Brewster to score the winner. It really is a bit of a comedy of errors when you see it again, Eamon, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Alan Maxwell had another chance to get it there. Christian Daly's left it. I honestly wouldn't pay particular blame to Dave McPherson. I think Alan Maxwell should have played the ball in a safer area. And unfortunately, he'll be remembered for that from now on.
It's very similar to the 1989 Cup when I played, and Gary Stevens made a mistake and allowed Joe Miller to score. You know, these cup finals are decided by things like this. But I wouldn't apportion blame to Ali or to Dave McPherson. I would just say Christian Daly did absolutely magnificently in blocking it and then having a cool head and sharp feet to get the ball on there. And obviously Craig Brewster had that never say die spirit.
He squeezed it in from an awfully tight angle. Here's the reaction of Ivan Golats when the final whistle finally blew. A little bit delayed, but my goodness, there's no mistaking the delight of the man who has finally turned round Dundee United's cup luck. First thing he does is to go to the opposition bench and to commiserate with Davy Dodds and with Walter Smith and Archie Knox. There's a very obvious bond between managers and coaching staff in various clubs. They all know what each other go through, and then having commiserated with the opposition, a word with Gordon Wallace, the rest of the backroom team, and then the celebrations begin, and you go through all the routine of wearing the funny hats and posing with a cup in your head and all these photographs that you probably regret in the cold light of day, but at the time seems like absolutely the right thing to do. So where do we go from here, I wonder? I mean, would you go along with Eamon, Terry, that it's a good thing for Scottish football in the wider sense that Rangers haven't won today?
Speaking as a neutral now, I'll try to speak as near to a neutral as I can. I think it's good now. And at the end of the day, it's Dundee United have shown that they've had a right go at it and won the cup, and it's up to other clubs to pick up that challenge really, and to say right, we'll have a go at things, because I think the more teams are in contention in the Premier League, especially, the more open it is, the more exciting it is, and there's much more to look forward to. But if there is a total one-club domination, then as Eamon says, it does become boring, and everybody goes, "Oh no, here again." But Dundee United have proved that they've come on the day. They've made the challenge, and won. So why can't other clubs now pick up that challenge?
Yeah, well, there is the financial gulf, which is a major factor now in football in the 90s, and as we head towards the year 2000, so much of it is about commercial income and the money that can be generated to buy the best players, not just from this country but from around Europe. Yeah, but you look at Ivan Golak and the Dundee United players, they had a belief that they could win the game today. Now they'll carry that belief even more strongly now towards the start of the next season. They'll have the belief that they can go out and win the league. Why not? Other teams, if they have that belief, can do it. Okay, teams like Rangers will have millions of pounds to spend, or have spent millions of pounds, but come one match, 90 minutes, 11 men against 11 men has been proved today. If the team really fancies it and really knuckles down, they can win. Tell you one man we haven't really talked about since the final whistle, Eamon, and that's Jim McLean. You know him as well as anyone.
Yes,
How will he be feeling?
I think Jim will be absolutely delighted. I mean, obviously, now what's going to